Music that revives memories. The powerful 1520. The views and opinions expressed on KYND 1520 talk programs are those of the host, guest, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its owners, management, other hosts, or advertisers. Show topics on this station may include conversations on any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practices. KYND, a Synergy Broadcasting Company.
Oh my gosh, it's Zakiya Larry live in the building. Today is going to be a very special and phenomenal show for several reasons. If you're watching online, you can see that I have an incredible group of people with me, and I'm going to tell you who these amazing folks are in just a second. But here's why today is so exciting for me. I'm kicking off a very special 4-part series called Broken and Blended Families. And it's so important to me because the stats show that, well, right now in Time Magazine, you can look this up right now, Time Magazine just reported that divorces are on a decline in America and marriages are increasing. Hashtag yay, right? Here's the thing, though. The 50% chance of most marriages not making it still stands. So where is that discrepancy coming from? And it's not about being a statistician and breaking this down, but knowing that fact, it's time to have real talk about broken families. And the reality is families are merging. There are different parents and different kids and different dynamics. And in order to blend a family, something first has to be broken. And so there are so many dynamics, and folks are moving along in life and they're carrying brokenness and attempting to blend before getting to the core of what really happened. So today I'm launching this 4-part series, Broken and Blended Families. Today we're starting with the mom element. The other parts that we'll be discussing will be teachers, the silent partners. Then we're going to talk to the dads. And then we're going to get the kids' perspective of being part of broken, then blended families. The entire goal is to make sure we get pure, unadulterated thoughts, feelings, and opinions from each group without judgment so that we can start not just real talk, but get to that real change. And so to that point today, we're starting with the mom element in this special series, Broken and Blended Families. And so I promised you from the very beginning of Zakiya Larry Live that this show will help you find your core, be it your core message, your core belief, your core feeling, and elevate to a new, more improved life space. And so this is what we're doing today. And so the core still counts. It's the day after Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, y'all, to people who are mothers, mother figures. I'm a godmother of 3, and yeah, I don't do a really phenomenal job at it. I'm just trying to hold it together. Can you be like a deadbeat godmom? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not on purpose though. I'm trying to work really hard for my 3 kids. Help me, somebody. It's too much. So with that being said, we're going to talk today to some real moms who have, I don't know, maybe they've experienced wanting to be a deadbeat mom, have that luxury like I have of being a deadbeat godmom. But we're going to really explore the family element, starting with the mom, and we're going to talk about her struggles. How does she really feel being a mother? Because on Mother's Day, it's all cards and roses and butterflies, but this is one of the hardest jobs on earth, if not the hardest. So how does she really feel? Has she experienced brokenness? What does that feel like? How did she blend a family, and does she feel as if that blend was successful? Has she found forgiveness from past hurts? How did she do that? And is that even possible? So today I have a panel of guest experts who will respond about a different aspect of this mom element. We have the best friend. We have the person who is, I'll say caregiver, but you'll hear a very different perspective there. A mom who experienced brokenness and blending. And also we have an expert family therapist who has seen it all and who will be our tie that binds today. So be sure that you call in and share your perspective, your opinions, and even a shout out to your mom right after Mother's Day. You can call 832-230-5592, 832-230-5592 to talk about the mom element. And then if you're watching on Facebook Live or on my website at ZakiyaLarryLive.com, use hashtag ZLLive and talk to us. So I am about to introduce these amazing folks. I'm going to throw some names out here so that you know who you're talking to, but then we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. We're going to be talking to Pat Bailey. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Greetings. We'll be talking to A.B. Lovelady. Greetings. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I love, he's so smooth, y'all. We might just talk just only to A.B. with his radio voice. Then we have joining us via Skype, Cynthia Dixon. Good morning, good morning. So she will be joining us as well. And then we have Stephanie D. Miller, and each person will be able to introduce themselves. But today could get heavy. You might cry. You're going to laugh. So before we get into all of that, you know what? It's time for one of my favorite segments. Wait, what?
Dum 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 dum.
Wait, what?
Dum dum dum.
Wait, what?
Life is funny. And so the question that I posed on Facebook for the wait what is, I want to know your hot mess mom story. So I'm not a mom, so fortunately this is just kind of rude. I'm passing the buck. But what is your hot mess mom story? I may not be a mom, but here's my story, and you didn't know I was going to tell this. Someone in this studio is my mother, by the way. So my hot mess mom story is that one day as a kid, I was snooping through some drawers. Look how she's looking at me. Y'all need to log on to Facebook because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in timeout after the show. So I'm snooping through some drawers. I see this log. My mom liked to keep notes of what happened, milestones with my brother and myself. And I saw this log, and it had the date and the time, and it said the new baby rolled over and fell off of the sofa. Oh, okay. So yeah, clearly she's not over it, and this brand new baby is 28, by the way. So y'all don't call CPS on my mom, please. I still need her. So, you know, moms are human beings. So my hot mess mom story is not only was I snooping, but I found out the new baby fell off the couch, and my mom kept a record of it. And I asked her about it, and she was completely mortified. And she got a little sad. Do you remember that you got a little sad?
Yes.
Yeah, so she got sad. So that's my hot mess mom story. You know, it's just funny. You know, does anybody here have a hot mess mom story? What's something weird or funny that you experienced? Like, wow, my mom really is human. Or I'm a mom and I really am just a human being. Yes. What's your hot mess mom story?
Well, my mom taught us to be very competitive. You know, we were the type of family that played dominoes and cards. But we were on a family vacation in California, and we were in bumper cars. And my mom...
This is already getting good.
And so my mom was having such a ball, just hitting all the children and everybody, and just... till finally, somebody hit her back. And the wig fell off.
Oh, this is so good. Oh, my God.
It was so funny. The wig fell off, and thank God she had her hair plaited, but she just grabbed her head and started laughing, and we all had a long ride after that. But she was such a sport. My gosh. She just laughed, but she didn't hit as hard as she did anymore.
I bet she didn't. Oh my gosh, that was so good. And I'm going to introduce who this incredible voice is, but this is Stephanie D. Miller. On Facebook, you guys are responding. KP Hodges said, my mother always tells the God's honest truth no matter what. If she doesn't say how she feels, the look on her face tells it all. And so even to this day, people say to her, KP, I can't believe you said that. She's like, I mean, what? I got it from my mom. So that's her hot mess mom story. Mom will get you together. Okay. So, guys, that was just a little fun we had this morning with Wait, What? Your hot mess mom story.
Wait, what?
That was super fun. So let's jump into who we're talking to today. You heard these incredible voices. I would like each person to give 1 to 2 sentences about themselves because they all represent a different element of the mom relationship. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. But we'll start right here. If you'll say your name, a little bit about what you do and where you're from.
I am Pat Bailey. I am the gracious mom of Zakiya Larry.
Hey.
I am a retired teacher and the mom of 2. I love life and I love my children.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Mother. Yes.
And I am Stephanie D. Miller. I am, too, also a mom. I'm a girl mom. I have 2 girls that are 14 years apart. That's another story we'll have to talk about.
I know it is.
But I have done several things in my puzzle of life, from being a teacher, from being in corporate, in sales and consulting. And presently, and from here on out, I serve as really a therapist. I'm a marriage and family therapist, a licensed professional counselor, and I also have a license in chemical dependency. And I came upon this from really doing it informally and even spiritually through church till after a major life change, I went to school to get the tools to really help the people that needed more help. And it seems as though increasingly we need more and more because the family is so, so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Stephanie D. Miller. Up next.
My name is A.B. Lovelady. I'm an assistant curator at the Station Museum of Contemporary Art here in Houston.
Wonderful.
I'm not a mother. I couldn't be.
Thank goodness.
But I have a business. It's Lovelady, Texas, and it's an arts incubator. We do a lot of arts projects in and around the city. And I was raised by a single mother and live in a matriarchal family here in Houston. And yeah, so.
Awesome. Awesome. And then joining us via Skype, we have Cynthia Dixon. Cynthia, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. Cynthia Dixon, as Zakiya said. I am a proud mother of 2 boys and with 1 on the way. And I am the CEO and author of No More Chains book. And I am the CEO and founder of SynAssist, a virtual assistant, a company that assists manage the lives of entrepreneurs, busy, amazing entrepreneurs. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The reason I wanted each of you to introduce yourself is because what I found is I can read a bio, but your bio is your resume. It's the really cool stuff you do, the accolades, but only you know your rap sheet. The rap sheet is the stuff behind the scenes that you may not want broadcast, but for the sake of this conversation, your resume and rap sheet is important because you all represent different elements of what we're talking about today. And so you may have, for folks who are listening, you may have already started to understand where we're going with this conversation. A.B., artist raised by a single mom. He'll be coming from that perspective about this broken and blended family, the mom element. Obviously, Stephanie is a mom, but she's also a family therapist, so she's going to help tie it together and give us some real solutions and techniques today. Because it's about walking away with tools when you listen to Zakiya Larry Live. We have Pat Bailey, #mother. And she's a retired teacher, so she understands the dynamics of families and kids. But more importantly, she blended our own family, and we have come from a broken family, even though she grew up in a 2-parent household. So it's a lot of elements here. And then you just heard from Cynthia. Cynthia is a mom. Cynthia is a CEO, but she has a very compelling story when it comes to motherhood that she is going to bravely share with us today so that we can understand the tie that binds. So when we come back, we are getting into the mom element. This is real life, real talk, real change.
Zakiya Larry live in the building.
A Magnolia man is arrested after
It's
a
about
road rage.
connection.
It's about community.
It's about empowerment.
It's about you.
The kind of talk that inspires change.
Connect now at kyndradio.com.
KYND is not just talk radio, it's interactive radio. Powered by JStream, the future of broadcasting. Listeners now have multiple ways they connect to the conversation. Using a mobile device or computer, they are able to watch their favorite radio talk shows just like a TV program. They can call in during a broadcast, send instant messages as they listen live, or share a broadcast so all their friends can watch live on Facebook. Ready to live your best life? Get motivated with powerful programs that help you take control of mind and body.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, my name is Les Brown, and I want to invite you to join me on KYND. It's radio that is designed to help you to live your dreams rather than your fears. You have something special. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Rushion McDonald, wow. That means something today, but when I started in Fifth Ward, Texas, with my brothers, I two brothers, I have 6 sisters, I didn't know what I wanted to be. So when I look at what I've accomplished today, you can do it. You can be that person. You can be Rushion. You can be Magic Johnson. You can be anybody you want to be mentally. I've worked with some of the best celebrities in this country. Kevin Hart, Jamie Foxx, Monique, Tamara Mowry, Gabrielle Union. So I've surrounded myself with a degree of success that stuns most people. But I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied when I got 2 Emmys. So my future now is to be able to share what I know. You know, they said, make America.
Kind of talk that inspires change.
Zakiya Larry Live. Everybody has a past, so together we'll use all of it to unlock your purpose. It's about real life, real talk, real change. Welcome to Zakiya Larry Live.
We are kicking off a special 4-part series called Broken and Blended Families, and it includes the mom element, the dad element, the kids and their truth, and also teachers, the silent partners. But it's the day after Mother's Day, so we are starting with the mom element as it relates to broken and blended families. Now, I have a panel of experts, a person who, well, let me just give you the names really quickly because they introduced themselves and gave us some really cool stats about them. We have A.B. Lovelady. He is with Lovelady here in Texas. He does an arts incubator. He was raised by a single mom. We have joining us via Skype, Cynthia Dixon. She's the CEO of Synesys. She's also the mom of 2 boys and 1 on the way. And she also has a very interesting, complex relationship with her mother. We'll be talking about that. We have Stephanie D. Miller, licensed family therapist and counselor, who's a mom of 2 girls. And then we have also Pat Bailey, who's a retired teacher and also the mom of 2, and one of her children is in the studio today. That would be me. So, hey, Mom.
Hey.
Greetings. So, everyone has a different perspective on motherhood and broken and blended families. When I say blended, by the way, it's when folks remarry or, you know, you get into a new relationship, and so you may have children from this new relationship, and so you're trying to make this work. But for the sake of this conversation, let's narrow some stuff down. Before we even get into talking about a blended family, I think it's really important to look at the idea of brokenness. Because in order to blend something, that means something fell apart. Mm-hmm. And because something fell apart, what I know for sure is that human beings were involved. They may have the title of mom, the title of dad, and that comes with all of the glowing accolades, as it should. But these are people. So to that point, I want to go first to AB because you have an incredible story about your mom as a person. And for some reason, that affects what you do to this day, even your career. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my mother, she's from Houston, Texas. Our family is from Homestead. And when she went to college, she, I think it was in the 70s, she went up to Prairie View A&M, and then after that, she went to, I think it was Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in theater and drama, and, she was pursuing a career in acting, and she's very creative. I mean, she still is. I'm not saying, this isn't over. But when she went to the East Coast and was doing theater, then she became pregnant with me. And when I found out this in I must have been in my teenage years, I felt like this overwhelming burden of being like, the reason that she wasn't able to pursue some of the things that she might have wanted to do originally.
Wow.
And, I think about that a lot because I can see how the way that some of the things that she's tried to put me on and introduce me to were based on some of the things that she had gotten exposed to and wanted to make sure that I got earlier than she had.
Right.
And so, and even in all of my work is through curating in the museums, through trying to be there for family. It's just so that we can build stronger ties and create more opportunities for one another, so that we don't feel like we have to sacrifice anything as much later down the line. Even though you have to, that's part of life.
Sure, sure. So did you ever feel as if you were maybe a burden?
Oh, definitely.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, my grandmother, who I love to death, we call her Foxy, and they had a big Mother's Day program hosted by my uncles yesterday in Baytown. But my grandmother, when she found out that my mom was pregnant, she called her up and she says, well, I hear you're pregnant. You tell me, so you can bring the baby, back to Houston and move back here, or I can come up there and get the baby and take it from you, and I'll just come back to Houston because you're not going to raise that kid in New York City. And I think about that all the time, and I have friends who grew up in New York. It's a completely different environment.
Sure.
And I'm like, she came back home with me, So, and my dad wasn't really with her, So that's like a big sacrifice. I could have just been being raised by my grandmother.
Right. Right. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, because I know that's not an easy story to tell, and it's not easy to be transparent. So let me ask Pat Bailey here. Yes. I just found out something new about you last week, actually. What? Yeah, you told me. But to AB's point, his mom's life completely changed, and there were times that he felt like a burden. And I need you to be honest. You won't hurt my feelings. Mm-hmm. But I thought that I and my brother were completely planned out. But I realized that you didn't even think having children was possible.
Well, that's true. The doctors told me because of black women have fibroids that I couldn't have children. But I was hoping to have a child, and I did, and I had you. And, of course, they said, well, you probably wouldn't go full term. And, of course, you did, obviously. So, of course, I didn't think I would be able to have another child. And here comes Junior. So, but as far as feeling burdened, it was the complete opposite. I felt blessed because I never thought I'd be able to have children. Now, as far as being in dynamics, as far as raising kids, and at some point I was a single mom raising children, but I never thought of my kids as a burden. I thought of them as a godsend because I had my mom and my dad who helped me financially. But even though I lived in Memphis and they lived in Alabama, but I always got that summer break, as you know, because I'd always send my kids to them during the summer, and I had my summer. By the way, yeah, the whole summer, and I had my break. So as far as a burden, I saw my kids as God sent. But the journey was something that you cannot imagine. And I understand being a single mom, but you got to be a mom first, and everything else next.
We're going to get into that journey, but you said something really powerful, that you never looked at your kids as a burden. And I think AB, that's good for him to hear, but he's also emotionally sound and intelligent enough to know that. But I think it's really interesting to hear it from a mom. But here's my thing. AB just illustrated something very clear. We know his mom would not ever say that he's a burden, but her life did change. And she is still looking at her dreams differently. What in your life shifted when it came to your dreams and goals once you had kids? Because as a matter of fact, you and Daddy were married for a long time before you even had me. So I'm pretty sure at that point, y'all were kicking it and foot loose and fancy free.
Very true. Very true. We were married 8 years. And if you are a true mom, if you are a true parent, your life does change. If it doesn't, something's wrong with you. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you have to give up your dreams and aspirations. I'm not saying that at all. But your life changes, particularly the moms.
Right.
They have to just sort of step back and reevaluate what's most important. What's most important is raising those kids. And I'm not saying give up everything, because you have to have your dream. You have to have your own dreams. And I stepped back and I looked at what I needed to do first. I tried to be a wife, but most of all, I had to be a mom.
Wow. I tried to be a wife, but most of all, I had to be a mom. I want to go to Cynthia really quickly before we talk to Stephanie. Cynthia, before we get into the current journey, because we will get there, AB shared about his mother. My mom shared about her perspective of shifting and having kids, and it's an emotional kind of thing. Before we move forward, let's take that step back, Cynthia, because you had a very interesting life-shifting experience with your mother when you were a very young child. We're talking about moms coming to terms with the fact that they are a mom. And your mom, is it fair to say, struggled a bit with that? Tell us about that.
So my mom was a single mom as well. It was 3 of us in the house. So for a very long time, I didn't learn this until I was an adult, but I learned that she had a grudge against me because of my relationship with my grandmother. So she struggled herself in her own journey. I learned as an adult that she was looking for that love. Not that she didn't love us, because my mom did a great job at showing us, and I say this now, is that she shows us how she loves us in her own way. It may not be my way. There's a thing is that when we don't know our parents, or we don't look at them as individuals, we want our parents to love us this much.
Right.
And as a child, I wanted my mother to love me this much. But as an adult, I learned that my mother could only love me this much, and so I had to come back to her.
Right.
And so learning who she was, learning her story, learning her as an individual, that's what shifted for me. I grew up with a hard relationship with my mom. There was nothing that I could do to please her. I was the first to graduate from college. I'm the oldest daughter. I'm the mother of my family. My list will go on.
Right.
So I used to tap dance I use the word tap dancing because, anything to get her attention.
Right.
When it came to my mother, it wasn't good enough. And I grew up feeling as if I wasn't good enough. And being a mother now, I take so much pride in doing everything that I didn't get from both of my parents. It wasn't just my mother, it was my father as well. So everything that I lacked as a child, my kids have a different life. And I remember telling myself, my kids will never know the way that I'm feeling right now.
Right. To that point, wow, thank you for sharing. You have vowed that your kids will never know what that feels like, including the words you speak. What did you hear as a child that sent you down this path to make sure, that started your tap dancing and then now feeds that desire to make sure your kids never feed this? What was that pivotal moment? What did you hear that changed everything?
The pivotal moment for me was when my mother had family over. They listened to music and all that, and here I was snooping.
Yeah.
My mother said that she told my grandmother that she hated me. Wow. I don't know what the conversation was. I don't know what went on. I don't know what made her say it. But hearing that your mother hated you, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
And so that's where the tap dancing began. Because, what did I do? Who's going to love me?
Right.
And because of that changed my entire life, because then I was angry. I didn't know what love looked like, and she wasn't going to give it to me, but my grandmother did. So it was because of my relationship with my grandmother that I was getting blamed or treated or, abused, whatever it was. I was just not getting the love that I thought I needed and thought I should have received from my mother.
Absolutely. Cynthia, thank you for sharing that. When we come back, we're going to talk to licensed counselor Stephanie D. Miller about all of these perspectives and where this pain is coming from and steps we can take to heal it. It's Zakiya Larry Live.
Hey, go refresh your coffee or send that quick email and come right back. There's more coming up next on Zakiya Larry Live.
1520 KYND.
KYND is not just talk radio, it's interactive radio. Powered by JStream, the future of broadcasting. Listeners now have multiple ways they connect to the conversation. Using a mobile device or computer, they are able to watch their favorite radio talk shows just like a TV program. They can call in during a broadcast, send instant messages as they listen live, or share a broadcast so all their friends can watch live on Facebook.
This is Rashawn McDonald. A great philosopher once said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Are you ready to take control of your finances? Create a future that takes you and your family to the next level? Then you don't want to miss this Monday's interviews on Money Making Conversations. I'll be chopping it up with Destiny's Child, Michelle Williams, the funny, beautiful, and talented Wendy Raquel Robinson, and Miss Talk and Funny herself, Sherry Shepherd. Ready for talk that inspires change? Then don't miss this week's Money Making Conversations. It all starts this Monday at 11 a.m. right here on KYND.
Ready to live your best life? Get motivated with powerful programs that help you take control of mind and body.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, my name is Les Brown, and I want to invite you to join me on KYND. It's radio that is designed to help you to live your dreams rather than your fears. You have something special. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Rushion McDonald, wow. That means something today, but when I started in Fifth Ward, Texas, with my brothers, I two brothers, I have 6 sisters, I didn't know what I wanted to be. So when I look at what I've accomplished today, you can do it. You can be that person. You can be Rashawn. You can be Magic Johnson. You can be anybody you want to be mentally. I've worked with some of the best celebrities in this country. Kevin Hart.
1520 KYND.
We are talking broken and blended families. Today, it's about the mom element as part of a special 4-part series here on Zakiya Larry Live. Now, we just got into some really deep stuff. We have Cynthia Dixon, who is a CEO, but she just shared that as a young child, she heard her mom say to her own mother, to Cynthia's grandmother, that I hate Cynthia. And that started Cynthia's course of trying to please her mother by any means necessary. But also the silver lining is, as a mom today, Cynthia makes sure her sons never encounter that kind of pain. We also have Pat Bailey, who's my mother, who thought she would never be able to have children. And here we are today in the Zakiya Larry Live studio. So her life unexpectedly shifted, even though she did pray for my brother and myself. And we have A.B. Lovelady, who is another blessing miracle baby whose mom conceived him when she was pursuing her dream in New York. And she gave it all up and moved back to Houston to raise him. And he said that in some ways, he felt like a burden. So now let's talk to licensed counselor Stephanie D. Miller. You just heard all of these different scenarios. The one thing they have in common is that real people became moms, and they're still real people dealing with real things, and their brokenness in some way affected their offspring even till today. Tell us your thoughts on what you've heard and a couple of tips for us to start to reconcile some of this past guilt, pain, discomfort.
Well, unfortunately, their stories are not uncommon. But the good news is there's hope. There's actually a little bit of brokenness in each and every one of us. And so what I'd like to do right now is just kind of walk through what I heard and hopefully offer some things that could help. Now, AB's story was one, I guess I could say, may in some respects I have elements which are the same, because you had a mother who had a dream, but then she opted. Now, I want you to listen to my language. Your mother chose motherhood over pursuing her dream as an artist. Now, somehow, in course of life, you made sense of it, saying that you were a burden to her. Did you ever hear your mother say those words?
No, never that.
Okay.
But that's like how I read it,
And that's how you read it. Now, one of the things that I find, especially in our African American men, you guys, I don't care what the world says about you, you really want to protect your mother. You want to protect your wives. You want to be providers. But unfortunately, young sons, especially of single mothers, find themselves trying to shift into the role of being the man of the house. So you tell yourselves things like, I am a burden, and really you weren't. So my suggestion to you is to continue to have conversations with your mom. And I think it's wonderful that she's able to live out aspects of her dream, being involved with the arts, because, each and every one of us here always had a dream of what we wanted to be. But guess what? It's never the same. And it's usually always better. And if you were to ask your mother that today, she would probably tell you, honey, I love my life. And I am so happy. So this is my word to you. When your mother says that, believe her.
No doubt.
And when you hear yourself saying, I'm a burden, I want you to change the language. Okay? So instead of saying, I'm a burden, how would you describe what you truly are to your mother?
I would say the same thing. She says that I'm a blessing.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Say it again like you really mean it.
That I'm a blessing, And I always say, she says that I chose her. I'm like, no, I didn't. It's just, that was God. I can't do that,
That's right.
Yeah. I feel what you mean, though.
Okay. So what I want you to do is hold your head up high and say, hey, I'm a blessing to my mother.
That's right.
And then I want you to add something else, and I believe it. And I want you to keep on saying, I believe it, till it comes to the point where it just rolls off of your tongue. Okay?
What do you think about Cynthia? She heard her mom say, I hate you, but I know her to be a very phenomenal, patient, beautiful mother.
Yeah. Cynthia, how old were you? Can you remember the age you were when you heard your mom say that?
Yeah, I was about 7 or 8.
Okay. And at 7 or 8, you were probably, 5, 6, 7, about first or second grade, correct? So,
yes, ma'am.
So you were very young.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you, in your household, were you given the opportunity to ask grown folks questions?
I would say I was, but the fear that I had to even bring it up, it wasn't appropriate.
Okay. Okay. So, Cynthia, as you raise your children, I'm sure you're doing this. But I will tell you this. Let me back up. When a mother or a father says that they hate their children, it's usually, and I'm sure you know this, but I'm saying this for your audience.
Absolutely.
It's usually just an expression of deeper pain. And I know now that you're older, and with the relationship that you have with your grandmother, you probably know a lot more about your mother's story. And so my hope for you in raising your own children is that
I'm Sherry Shepherd. You know
will
me.
give them the opportunity to ask the questions and really talk about the value of words. I have a little grandson now, and I teach Jeremiah how to express his emotions, because I know most men and some women don't know how.
Exactly.
And when he was a little boy, he used to say, I'm sleepy, and I would watch him, and this would be right after a nap, but something would happen.
Right.
So eventually, over the process of time, I realized that he wasn't sleepy, he was sad.
Mm-hmm.
So now that he's 4 years old, he knows how to express his emotions.
Right.
And so with you having carried that pain of hearing your mom say, I hate you, oh my.
Right.
I just can't imagine what you went through, but I am so glad that you opted to be a good mom, because you know what? Some women don't do that.
You know
That's
what's
right.
so powerful is that, and Cynthia, we're going to get into this right after the break. Cynthia teaches her sons affirmations.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite things
Yes.
I love about Cynthia, and we'll get into that because that's in line with what you're saying. Not only is it emotional intelligence and managing your emotions, but also we have affirmations here. So coming up after the break, we're going to teach you how to get past this pain, whether your mom said, I hate you, whether you felt like a burden, broken and blended families. It's Zakiya Larry Live.
Hey, it's your elevation strategist, Zakiya Larry, and you're listening to Zakiya Larry Live on KYND 1520 AM.
Zakiya Larry live in the building.
From the Woodlands to Warden, on the air everywhere. Everywhere. The powerful 1520.
KYND 1520 is a powerful 25,000-watt station that covers 175-mile radius of Houston and surrounding areas, and can be heard and seen anywhere in the world online through the mobile app powered by JStream. It's not just radio, it's interactive radio. KYND is the kind of talk that inspires change. Learn how to get healthy and stay healthy. Be inspired to live your best life. Control your finances. Join the growing number of sponsors that understand the value of connecting to listeners through KYND, the kind of talk that inspires change. Download from Android or Apple device at KYND Radio.
KYND. It's about connection.
It's about community.
It's about empowerment.
It's about you.
The kind of talk that inspires change.
Connect now at kyndradio.com.
KYND is not just talk radio, it's interactive radio. Powered by JStream, the future of broadcasting. Listeners now have multiple ways they connect to the conversation. Using a mobile device or computer, they are able to watch their favorite radio talk shows just like a TV program. They can call in during a broadcast, send instant messages as they listen live, or share a broadcast so all their friends can watch live on Facebook.
This is Rashawn McDonald. A great philosopher once said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Are you ready to take control of your finances? Create a future that takes you and your family to the next level? Then you don't want to miss this Monday's interviews on Money Making Conversations. I'll be chopping it up with Destiny's Child, Michelle Williams, the funny, beautiful, and talented Wendy Raquel Robinson, and Miss Talk and Funny herself, Sherry Shepherd. Ready for talk that inspires change? Then don't miss this week's Money Making Conversations. It all starts this Monday at 11 a.m. right here on KYND.
Ready to live your best life? Get motivated with powerful programs that help you take control of mind and body.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, my name is Les Brown, and I want to invite you to join me on KYND. It's radio that is designed to help you to live your dreams rather than your fears. You have something special. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
1520 KYNDradio.com.
Zakiya Larry live in the building.
Hey there, we're talking broken and blended families, the mom element, and Stephanie D. Miller, licensed family counselor, has gone through the different stories we shared, and she's giving tools that you can use as you listen to start to mend the brokenness in yourself as a mom, to understand the brokenness in your own mom, and to then start to move forward and elevate yourself from your core, because you know that's what I'm all about here at Zakiya Larry Live. I will share really quickly before we do another analysis with Stephanie, is that my mother shared earlier in her story that she did not think she and my father would be able to have my brother or me. But also, clearly, she also shared that the marriage broke down, but she was intent on being a mother. Now, we're talking about the perspective of a mom, but we're also talking about the perspective of a kid. And very much like AB, he carried some pain and maybe a bit of feeling of responsibility in his mom shifting her dreams. And I got to be honest, after my parents' divorce, I felt a great sense, a great burden to take care of my family. And I know a lot of men feel like that's their role, but I felt like it was my role too, to protect. And so that was very stressful. But what I learned is through trial, error, and also counseling, is that I had to understand the pain of my parents. Mm-hmm. And it's incumbent upon us to understand that we may be part of the family, but we're not always part of their story. That the parents, when experiencing brokenness, have their own life, own path, and own relationship. And in that particular story, I was but a minor character. And so it's really important to understand that even if your parents may not have gotten along, even if you heard your mom say, "I hate you," even if you saw your mom give up a dream, it's not your fault. But a lot of times people are choosing a better life for you. And so I had to release the burden of feeling like I had to take care of my family because it wasn't me that broke the marriage apart. I now understand that my responsibility is to play in my own lane and be the best daughter that I could be. And Cynthia is now being the best mother that she can be and not carrying the pain of hearing her mom say, "I hate you." AB is being the best artist and community uplifter that he can be, because he understands that by his mom giving up her dream, he's now equipped to help other people live their own. And so that's what's important about Journey. That's important. Our past impacts our future, but it doesn't have to limit it. It simply gives us the color and the motivation in moving forward. Stephanie.
It's funny, I'm going to pull you in here.
Yes, please do.
Because I'm so glad that you shared with the audience that you felt a burden to take care of your family. It is not uncommon that children do that, no matter what the circumstance of divorce is. However, in your instance, family roles come into place. Being the oldest child, you're the hero child. And heroes generally are the ones that don't make the waves. You know, they're the ones that do the right things. They bring honor and respect to the family. So you brought that in. But the thing is, being a hero, I want to offer this suggestion. Be very careful in every area of your life, because it will spill over into your business relationship, even with your girlfriends, with so many other things. And give yourself permission sometimes just do nothing. That may be a big thing for you. Or even more so when I am sensing right now is you need to start letting people do things for you, Miss Ma'am.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Oh, woo! This show just went there.
You need to let other people do things for you.
Wow.
And we'll talk later. That's another show.
This has now become a 5-part series. Broken and blended families, but that's very true, Stephanie, because the hero child rears her head in everything. As a matter of fact, I helped launch another project similar to this, and I put my entire life and soul into it to the point where I was barely hanging on. And, you know, that relationship, I mean, that person just, we'll talk about how that fallout happened, and I carried pain from that too. But that has been a recurring theme in my life, to give and give and give, because I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to see people fail. And understanding, because I do know it, because I'm carrying that from my past. And that's what a lot of folks do. That's why I'm adamant in coaching about finding your core, not only who you are created to be when you come here, but what is it that's at your core that's driving you, good, bad, or indifferent. And what I know at my core is that coming from pain, coming from brokenness, I want to stop the bleeding. I remember wanting to stop the bleeding so very badly when I was 9. I remember being in a blended family, and my stepfather was verbally abusive, wanting to stop that bleeding in my heart when I was 16. And now that I am more over 30, amen, I often see people who are hurting, and I want to stop that bleeding. And while it's noble, what I will say to you, family who are in the building with me right now, is that it's really hard, as T.D. Jakes says, to lead while you bleed. And so I had to be intentional about healing. I had to be intentional about telling myself a different story, similar to what you shared with AB. I had to tell myself a different story about my parents' divorce and what that meant, and understanding that, unfortunately, my brother and I were collateral damage. We experienced collateral damage in this. We were not the ones that broke the marriage apart. And now I have to check myself when I feel like I'm tying up my cape and coming to someone else's rescue when I haven't eaten and I haven't been to bed and I haven't finished my own deadlines. I have to tell myself a different story. And speaking about telling yourself a different story, it's about self-speak in healing this brokenness. Cynthia, you're incredible with affirmations, especially with your boys. Can you talk to us about this? Because I'm sure that has gotten especially one of your little ones through his own season of experiencing brokenness in the family.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like you. You know, I carried everything in my family too. So everybody on here, that's who I was. You know, I'm the first in my family to do everything. So that came with a lot of risk and a lot of, you know, you think you're better than me or this and that. But I had to get back to me, and getting back to me was being able to say no to other people and being okay with that. Speaking life into my life, speaking affirmations. And I do that with my kids. My 2-year-old and my 9-year-old, I mean, even my 2-year-old says I'm a successful young black man, because I believe that those thought processes that we did, you know, growing up, people said about us, that's not who you are. You no longer have to make that agreement with them or yourself. And when you speak against yourself, and I tell my boys this, is that if you speak against yourself, you welcome that into your life. And so if you intentionally speak life into your life, then that which you will attract. And so that's why I'm real big on affirmations. I'm real big at looking at we also do mirror work, because there was a time, I think in kindergarten, where he started learning the difference of how he was being treated as the only black kid in his class. Right. And then when he came home one day, he felt, you know, I wish I was white. And so we did vision boards, we did mirror work, and I need him, even if he does something that, a wrong choice, we look in the mirror, we talk to each other. He talks to himself, actually, and he apologizes to himself. He also forgives himself.
Wow.
And so I'm very intentional with my boys, because I want to build him up so bad that when somebody comes to speak to him and try to break him down, he can say gladly with a smile, I'm not going to agree to that.
That's right.
I hear what you're saying,
right,
but that's not my agreement.
And Stephanie is just nodding and smiling
At 9 years old,
Mm-hmm.
he's a powerful brother, because he chooses not to be angry if somebody talks about him or tries to bully him, but he'll say, thank you for that compliment, versus getting mad and trying to defend it. Because if you get mad and you try to defend it, that means that you've already made the agreement with them.
Right.
And so I'm teaching him the things that I learned as an adult. And at 9, he's going to, and then as an adult, I expect to build my little boys into powerful young men.
I love that. Absolutely. And Stephanie's just smiling and nodding. We're getting some real tools and solutions here to come from brokenness as moms, or experiencing our mom's brokenness. Final thoughts from each one, if you can keep it as something really quick and simple that the audience can remember right before we leave here. It can be on one of two things. What's something you can forgive yourself for? What do you need forgiveness and say and verbalize today? I forgive myself, to help release yourself from brokenness. That's option 1. Mm-hmm. Option 2 is, what would you say to someone in your scenario looking to move forward from brokenness as a mom, or having experienced a broken mom? Either one.
I would say to someone who has experienced brokenness is always remember, whatever has been, don't let it be again. Look forward. Keep your children first. My bad. Keep God first. And your children will be okay.
Thank you. Thank you. AB, any thoughts, final thoughts?
I've never actually thought about what it means to forgive yourself for anything, actually, until she just said that Stephanie said that her child, less than 5 years old, does it. So I'm thinking of it at the moment. But I would definitely say for, you don't have to save everyone. Sometimes I feel the same need that you have expressed, to try to hold people together and help them to get towards their dreams, because I don't want to see people give up on theirs. But you don't have to save everyone. So.
Absolutely. Stephanie?
What's coming to mind for me is it's never too late. It's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to forgive. It's never too late to heal a relationship.
That's right.
You may have to get rid of that ultimate picture that you have.
But it's still never too late.
But it's still
awesome.
Never too late.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our panelists here. Let me give you your 1-minute elevate. And it's quite simple. Forgive yourself for the past brokenness. Understand that it's not your responsibility to save anyone. And just know that when you find your core, you can operate from it to live a more successful, fulfilling life, whether you were broken or blended. Thank you so much to Cynthia, Stephanie, AB, and Pat Bailey. It's Zakiya Larry Live.
Liking the conversation? Tell a friend to tune in to KYND, the kind of talk that inspires change.
The all-new Phil and Derek's Restaurant and Jazz Bar, 1701 Webster. The perfect place to kick back, relax, enjoy some great music and delicious food. We have a lunch buffet, dinner buffet, and a buffet on Saturday and Sunday. Plus, some amazing menu items to choose from. Live entertainment 7 nights a week. Phil and Derek's, 1701 Webster, corner of Webster and Jackson. Open daily, 11 a.m., Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Call 281-501-3261 for more information.
Today, many Americans are worried about health care. Our greatest treasures are the ones that we love. This is Jeremy Garrett, CEO of Moore's Total Care Group. We offer a network of home health services to care for the ones you love. Everything from pediatric providers to hospice care. Invest in your greatest treasures. Call 877-MG-CARES. That's 877-642